What's good, Josh? I'm Kyle. Welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and liking, commenting, subscribing, and all that really helps out the channel. So if you could just do me a favor and just do all that stuff, I'd really appreciate it. And today we're going to be talking about the most recent trade in the NBA. Obviously, everybody in the NBA world has heard about this, and James Harden has just been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, and the trade package was really not all that great player-wise for Philadelphia, but they did get some valuable, picks back in the deal. But the trade was James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and another first-round pick that's going to be coming from OKC. And this deal is really good for the Clippers because I feel like they needed another star, they needed a point guard, they needed another move to really take them over the edge and really get people to see them as serious contenders again. But even with a move like this, you still have to wonder, can Paul George and Kawhi Leonard stay healthy for, I don't want to say the entire season because no star really plays all 82 games anymore, but can they just, get the load management going? Can they be healthy for a playoff run? That's what really matters, is the playoff run. I think with the current roster that they had, they were most likely going to make the playoffs, had a really great chance to be, a solid seed. But with this James Harden move, it really helps bolster the roster when one of those guys is missing time. Because instead of it, when Kawhi misses time, instead of it just being Paul George and, the cast, it can be Paul George, James Harden, and then everybody else. So it just really helps out as far as a team building standpoint. And just, as far as a scheme standpoint, they've really missed playmaking on that team. James Harden is going to be immediately the best defender that they've had since Chris Paul. James Harden averaged, 10 assists last year, 20 points last year. And, a lot of people like to say that, oh, James Harden is not what he once was in Houston. He's, regressed after some injury troubles. He's gotten older. He's not as great anymore. And obviously, he's not the same player that was once averaging like 35, 36 in Houston. But he's still a really valuable player. He's still a guy who can, create his own shot. He can still shoot the three. He can still get to the floater occasionally. He can still operate in the pick and roll. He can still, find guys all over the floor. So I just think this is a really great move, as far as scheme goes, because he can spray the ball out to Paul George. He can, operate with Ivica Zubac in the pick and roll. He can find Westbrook in transition. He can, work in the pick and roll with Kawhi Leonard if that's something they want to do. So I think that James Harden just gives them a whole different style to play. And I think that he's going to really calm down the pace of the team. Not calm it down, but he can add to that. He can really bring a veteran presence to the team. He can bring a lot of, great playmaking. And I feel like he's become sort of underrated as a scorer because we've seen him, be able to go out for these crazy 30-point games sometimes. But his baseline for scoring is going to be a pretty efficient 18 to 20 points. And I feel like, from a starting point guard, and he's giving you, great elite passing, like 10 assists per game. I feel like that's a really great thing for the Clippers to have. And, the Los Angeles Clippers, now they have a depth chart, and it's going to be Russell Westbrook, Bones Highland, James Harden, Norman Powell, Paul George, and they got to keep Terrence Mann, which is really crazy to me. And then they have Kawhi Leonard, PJ Tucker, Zubac, and Plumlee at the as the centers. So I think they have a pretty good bench unit. I think it's probably going to be Russell Westbrook coming off of the bench along with Norman Powell and Bones Highland. That's a really strong bench unit, I think. I would imagine that they, upgrade Terrence Mann. Not upgrade, but, keep him in the starting lineup and let him operate from there. Because obviously they really value him. That's why this deal took so long. They didn't want to, come up off of him. So I just think that this trade, it really puts the Clippers back into that contender level, with, teams like Denver, the Lakers, the Bucks, the Celtics. Like, I think this trade really strengthens their roster. Now, as far as, moving down the line, obviously in 2028, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and James Harden most likely not going to be there. And if they are there, they're going to be very less versions of themselves. So for Philadelphia, I really like this trade, and I really think that for them to get a 2028 unprotected pick, and 2028 is going to look really good, and that's going to help them, with trades down the line. But they also got a pick swap, they got another first, they got a couple of seconds, and it came out today that they're looking to add a star at the deadline. So really, this move just creates a lot of flexibility for Philadelphia, and I feel like they can, get a star right now, they can get a star in the summer, and then down the line, they still have assets in order to move forward and build a pretty good team. But if they weren't to get a star this summer, I wouldn't be shocked to hear rumblings about Embiid wanting out, because this is the second time that he's just left with nothing, essentially. because when they traded Ben Simmons, I don't want to say left with nothing, because when Ben Simmons got traded, it was with James Harden. But really, when Ben Simmons was just sitting out, he had to play alone and carry the load a lot. And then with James Harden here, James Harden would get hurt, he got to carry the load. And then now that James Harden is gone, it's pretty much back to square one again. Hopefully Tyrese Maxey can continue his stellar season. He's been dropping 30 like every game. So I think that may be part of the reason why Philadelphia felt comfortable moving forward with a deal like this, because they see Tyrese Maxey, who's emerging as a ball handler, who's emerging as a scorer, who just looks really fantastic. And you want to pair that with Embiid, and maybe they feel like they can take some time to find a third star to pair with those two. And James Harden, things just didn't work out there. He called Daryl Morey a liar or whatever. Things just really didn't work out, on that end. So it's good to see that this, whole trade saga is going to be finished. But it is really crazy to me that James Harden, constantly over and over again gets to go to his preferred destination. I've never seen a star wants to be traded so often, and then every time he gets his wish granted. He wanted to leave Houston. He was able to facilitate a trade and get himself to Brooklyn, and then he wanted to leave Brooklyn. And then he whenever stars give a team a list, usually teams are just like, yeah, whatever, we're gonna take the best deal. But over and over again, he's consistently gotten where he wants to go. And just the cast of teammates that he's had throughout his career is just crazy. And then now you can add, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to that list. So as far as, the trade goes, I think this is a really good trade for both sides. You would have loved to see Philadelphia maybe get a better, at least like a good developmental type pick, but that's neither here nor there. I think they're really happy with what they did, and I think it opens them up cap space wise to get a free agent in the summer. They have the assets to make a move for a guy at the deadline. So I'm really excited to see what they do. And as far as the Los Angeles Clippers go, I really pray that they stay healthy, but if they can stay healthy, stay moderately healthy throughout the regular season, and stay, relatively healthy in the postseason, I can definitely see them competing for a championship. I think this definitely adds a lot of wins to their column, because James Harden can add a lot of wins to your roster. James Harden can take over games that, even at this stage in his career, he can still take over a lot of games. So I really, really like this deal, and I really hope that, they use James Harden in a way that, works for him, works for them. And I just really can't wait to see what Kawhi Leonard and Paul George look like next to a real, superstar, elite passer. And I'm really interested to see, the kind of lineups that they can run, because James Harden can run pick and roll with anybody. Maybe they run, a double small pick and roll with him and Russ. Maybe they run a 1-3 pick and roll, him and Kawhi, let Kawhi get to the mid-range shot. Maybe they can run like a 1-4 pick and roll with him and Paul George. There's just so much stuff that James Harden can do offensively that can just add to your team a lot. And I think Ivica Zubac is a pretty great role man for James Harden to be paired with. We know that the Harden and Embiid pick and roll, really, really dangerous. And obviously Zubac is not Embiid, but as far as rolling goes, I would say that Zubac is pretty solid at that. So there's just a lot of different elements that James Harden adds to this team, and I really think that it's going to strengthen their team, coming for the postseason. And I can definitely see them in the finals and ultimately winning the finals, but that's if they stay healthy. They really, really have to stay healthy, but I really like this trade, and I like it for both sides. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and if you take the end of this video, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.